Hello, I'm Stefan Marinko from RT-RK company. I'm a software engineer here. And what we came to show today is the demo on the Astra SL1680.
So you have this board running this system?
Yeah. And our partnership with Astra was that we took the whole Astra SDK, the whole Yocto Linux system. We added a few layers. I could show you here. So this part is a combined RT-RK plus Astra. The RT-RK has developed a special Android image, which is called mARTini device, which is able to run inside of lightweight LXC container. So we are having Android running on top of Synaptics as Linux. And what we have gotten is that we can run any Android application inside of Linux. As I can show you here on our demo.
This is the Linux tablet.
This is the Linux and the Linux Synaptics board. This is just touchscreen. So we could start whatever application we want. And the main thing here is these are original APKs.
And it's all Android apps on this Linux base.
Yeah, so we could interact between Linux and Android. We could have Linux application and Android application one beside each other. And as you can see here, we could start Netflix.
And it has full support for security, for Netflix requirements for copyright and everything.
Wine.
It just doesn't mind. Everything is supported.
Yeah, because it is Android. It is full-blown Android, just stripped down to be able to work in container, and we make the image as tiny as it's possible, so it would be as fast as it is possible. So as you can see, Netflix is running without any problems.
And when you talk about Yocto and mARTini, what is your specialty in there?
We are in general embedded system developers. We have different various fields of working. So for example, we have a hardware and FPGA teams. We are also in mobility. As you can see, this is the automotive demo firstly, but also can be used in IoT.
And you do set-top box, Android TV kind of things?
Yeah, we've been in set-top box business with Android practically when it started. If you want to see our experience with Android, we started the cooperation 2019, but Android started working in 2007, for example.
So you're in the beginning of Android nearly?
Yeah.
And 20 years experience in multimedia systems development?
With Android. Yeah.
Where is your company based?
In Serbia, Croatia and Bosnia, but the base is, the origin is in Novi Sad, Serbia.
And do you have really talented engineer colleagues?
Yeah, the one interesting thing here is that we are combining academic and the industry. Our CEO is PhD, and we have a lot of PhDs in our company. We have a special curriculum for our colleagues, so they are starting to work in our company after third year of college, and we are combining the college and the company, and they are being able to work and finish the college. I myself started working after third year of college, finished master and started PhD studies while working full-time.
In Serbia?
Yeah, in Serbia.
And what is the advantage of having a Linux system with Android apps, for example?
You want to ask me why would you like to do that? It is really simple. It is really easy to have pretty things on Android, and it is really hard to have it on Linux. We could agree on that, yeah? And the other things here, it is really easy to do embedded things, such as accessing GPIO ports, working with various drivers with Linux. So what we want to do to combine the UI from Android and the functionality from Linux. And we are communicating via IPC. And it is pretty much how it's working. And also we could use it in automotive, because automotive started from Linux infotainment and now going to the Android. If you don't want to fully integrate the Android, we could just be shortcuts to it, because in most cases for the Android you don't need the whole operating system, you just only need some special apps. For example, Spotify or some messaging apps or something like that.
What is the kernel? Is it the Android kernel, the Linux kernel?
It is Linux kernel, which is expanded with Android things like such as binder, hashmem, and some other things. So we haven't changed the kernel code, just set some kernel features to yes. And
maybe one advantage could be you can have a full Chromium browser that does extensions, whatever is like from a potential desktop UI.
Yeah,
that works better when it's Linux.
Yeah,
and then you can still have all the Android apps.
Yeah, and it is easier because when you compare it to hypervisor, when you have hypervisor, you need to split resources. 2 gigabytes of RAM on one side, 2 gigabytes of RAM on other side. But for example, and CPU and everything. But when you have container, you could perform resource dynamic resource allocation, so you can choose how much processor you want to use for each moment of time. So you can schedule everything.
Can you show some other on the presentation? What does the other slides talk about?
The other slide, for example, who are the target customers? Especially I mentioned some of the things, but the mostly anyone who has Linux and want to have something with Android.
And Linux-based IVA have Android in the roadmap.
Yeah, this is the thing I mentioned.
Many things have Linux.
Yeah.
Billions of devices.
Yeah, and when you need good UI, you would probably want to use Android. And the second thing is that people are used to Android. They know how to work with it, but when you are using Linux, you need to always create some custom UI that people aren't accustomed to.
Nice. And you don't lose any performance at all. It's native performance for everything.
Yeah.
It's not emulation.
Yeah, because you are standing on top of the kernel. You are definitely accessing all the resources.
And the graphics acceleration.
Full
work.
Yeah, it is working fully.
How good is it to work on the Astra development kit platform? What do you think about it?
We were only using the Yocto part of the system, but we could say it was really easy. We only added our set of layers because this isn't our first time integrating in some platform. And I would say it was seamless. For the graphics, it's always a problem to perform graphic acceleration. You need a lot of job, but it was, I would say, easy enough. It was a bit hard, but not harder than other vendors.
All right.
So, and we had great support from the whole team.
Maybe Android apps are getting first access to some AI cool things that could be useful.
Yeah.
For example, I want to run ChatGPT app, or I want to run Grok, or I want to run DeepSeek. It's an Android, so you can just load it.
Yeah, and
one click.
Also, if you want to have some avatar, for example, you want to have some avatar you would talk to, and for example, we could use it in medical purposes to just attach some wires to people to check the heart rate, oxygen level, and everything. You could have the AI avatar who could talk to people to calm them down, to check their heart rate and to see, okay, calm down, everything is okay, to have like some psychological interaction with people.
Nice.
This solution will enable it.
And right here, we were seeing some of the apps.
Okay. Here, you could power it off.
And then you have, as an example, Spotify, Amazon Prime, but basically is 5 million apps.
Yeah, you can use whatever you want to.
All right. What other projects your company is doing that's really cool?
We are, as I mentioned, mostly doing integration projects, but we have some projects about developing surround system in car. For example, the algorithms for integration of algorithms in the surround system of car. So you have noise cancellation. In some moment you want to have surrounding stronger or to have it lesser. Also, we have a lot of hardware bring-up projects. So whatever new hardware comes out, we have a lot of experience with various interfaces, CAN, LIN, pretty much whatever automotive protocol you imagine, we have worked. And in general, industrial. For example, our IoT company, which is called Oblo, is working with pretty much any communication protocol in the IoT, so Z-Wave, Zigbee, also industrial, like Modbus. Also, we managed to integrate Matter over Wi-Fi and over Thread. We are also producing are full-blown gateway and selling it as an IP. So there's a lot of things going on inside of RT-RK. We are also cooperating with TT Tech. There is more than 500 engineers only in automotive. But as I mentioned, we have home audio systems and digital television and Internet of Things part. So we exist for more than 30 years. And there's a lot of knowledge.
What does it mean, RT-RK?
It is really hard to translate from Serbian, but like computer communications and technologies, it would be good enough. Because this started from the university. There was like a subject which was called like that, and we just took the name from the college and keep it by ours.